Ghostbuster. Hello everybody, welcome back to Real Talk Kinda. I'm your host, Hayden McGraw, and today I am joined by...
your other host, Griffin Murray.
And today we'll be going over none other than the second best movie released in 1984.
Ghostbusters! What do you want?
Exactly. Griffin, tell me right now, what was your first experience with Ghostbusters?
I really don't know.
Alright. Crazy. You don't know?
I really don't. I probably should have thought of that. But genuinely, I don't know when it came up.
I will say I liked Ghostbusters when I was young. Alright. He's putting his hand up. He's ready to speak now. As soon as I started talking.
Go ahead.
No, your turn now.
So, I can almost guarantee this is where it came from. My grandpa's name was Bill Murray. So as a kid, I would always hear people say, Bill Murray, not the Ghostbuster. It's my dad would say, my dad's Bill Murray, not the Ghostbuster. Or my uncle would say, people would say, Bill Murray, not the Ghostbuster. So I'm guessing that I heard that so many times. It's I gotta figure out what is going on.
I think when I first met you and I found out your grandpa's name was Bill Murray, I made that joke, and I was like, is that like a thing in your family? And you were just like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been, I think if you would have said no, I would have been like, what the hell? But I was also surprised that I was like, do you acknowledge that?
Even now I say it and I kind of laugh a little bit to myself, but I feel like it's less common now that if I say my grandpa was Bill Murray, people don't oh, the Ghostbuster. They're just okay. Maybe they don't care.
I would still say it.
Well, yeah, but that's different.
But Ghostbusters isn't as relevant anymore. Bill Murray isn't as relevant anymore.
But all these people...
Garfield isn't as relevant anymore.
Garfield isn't an elephant anymore.
Shut the fuck up.
You heard it here first, folks. Garfield is no longer an elephant.
No.
Okay, at some point in the movie, they do say, Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And they have to know what that sounds like.
Oh, they acknowledge it in the newest one.
Oh, they do?
Paul Rudd will say it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's busting makes me feel good. They're like, nah, don't
say
like
no,
that.
we're not saying that anymore.
Yeah. No, for sure. Because honestly, the movie is more of a comedy. And I think that is an ironic thing to say.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's just funny that they say it and they don't acknowledge it. In the first one, they say it and they just
I think that's the best
move
part
right
about
past it.
I think that's the best part is that they have that on kids' toys in the show, and it's busting makes me feel good is such a iconic phrase that honestly
With the Ghostbusters.
I've said it a few times.
What
My
was your
first experience, we had, which I don't remember what year it came out, or I guess I could do the math. 2014, 40th anniversary. Or 30th, sorry. The 30th anniversary in 2014, we had the DVD, or it might have been the 25th, whatever. The first and second movie on DVD, it came with bonus features, it came with this little book. So I read the book first, looked through all that, thought that was really cool. I liked the slime cover that I had.
I have that.
So I remember watching the movie and being I remember watching the second movie more than I remember watching the first one, because I remember the pink slime, and I liked that, because then I got a toy, like one of those pink slime jar things. So I was like, holy shit, it's a thing from Ghostbusters.
Did you play Higher and Higher for it?
No.
Is that what the song's called?
I did have it. I would put all my little Star Wars characters in it and have them get eaten by it. It's more like the Blob movie, I guess, but...
Anyway, now we're copyright striked.
No! We're gonna get taken down. You can't click that the whole time. No, I'm not cutting it. No.
Anyway, yeah, but you played that song, played Higher and Higher for him.
Mm-hmm.
Made him dance.
Put my little toys in there and have them get absorbed by the goo and shit like that. I don't know. I thought it was fun. So I remember watching Ghostbusters 2 more than I remember watching the first movie. But then I remember in 2019 they had a Ghostbusters thing at Universal, one of the Halloween Horror Nights. And walking through that, I think kind of made me be like, yeah, Ghostbusters is really cool. Before, it was one of the movies I enjoyed. I had an Ecto-1 set. I had a Ghostbusters collection, but it wasn't one of those movies that I was like, yeah, I'll put it on. Until then, I walked into basically the movie, saw the library ghost, it jumps at you. It's actually really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. There's a ton of videos, I'm sure.
We went to this bookstore in Fort Wayne last weekend, and we went in the basement, and it was ceiling to floor books and bookshelves, and they're real narrow shelves, and I was like, this is the library from Ghostbusters.
That's really cool. See, that's
I was like, we're gonna get some symmetrical book stacking here in a minute.
I will say, I was just in PFW the other day, and I went to the bathroom and, just walked in the hallway, so the lights were all off. And I'm walking down, and I literally felt like I was going to get chased. Like something was going to come down. Like it looked like a game. Like something was going to come down from
there was going to be a cutscene
and start chasing me. Like I was like, this is what it feels like right now, and I don't like it. So I was walking through Halloween Horror Nights, and then the end, they had a slammer in there, and I thought that was cool. But in the end, they had Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and they had the people come out and they're like blasting it, and it actually looks like it's catching on fire and shit. And I was like, that was cool as hell. Now I wish this year when I go, if I go, I'm kind of hoping to go by myself so I can just keep doing Five Nights at Freddy's over and over again. But I was like, that's one of them I wish I would have done at least one more time. Because they kind of do push you through them. So it's like you need to go multiple times to see everything. So I was like, I wish I would have gone one more time just to look at everything. But that's kind of what made me go this is really coul. Then they came out with Afterlife. And I was like, okay.
Is that I think you're missing something there. Between Ghostbusters 2, I feel like there's another movie in between there.
No, they didn't. Yeah, so then Afterlife came out. And I think that movie's one of the best Ghostbusters movies. I mean, you don't beat the first one, but it's my favorite sequel that they've done. Just because Frozen Empire for me was good, but I saw it twice, and honestly, the second time I liked it a little bit more because it was I knew what I was in for. I was because the first time I was when is the whole world gonna freeze over? And it doesn't happen until the last 10 minutes, and that's it. So then the second time I kind of, knowing that, went in because I had this kind of thing where it's not that I want a movie to end, but I'm also trying to time it out to see when is this going to be over.
Right.
And it felt like it was going on forever because I'm the world has not frozen over yet. And I feel like I've been sitting here for 2 hours. That's kind of the way Captain America felt, where I knew how it was going to end with Red Hawk. So I was like,
right.
Why does it feel like I've been sitting here for 2 hours and I still haven't seen Red Hawk?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where they did too much of the ending in the marketing, so you were just waiting for the ending, basically.
This episode's going to be bonkers, but bouncing around. But I think one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie, all the franchise, everything.
This is one of the biggest franchises we've covered so far.
Yeah.
So bouncing around kind of, it makes sense.
And we've already kind of covered it a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Throughout our
I think that's why we were
so far.
this. It feels like we should just cover Ghostbusters now because we've covered about everything. We've covered about everything around it. We've talked about Afterlife a million times. I still want to touch on it again today.
Or before, they're talking to the mayor, and then the guy from the EPA comes in, and they're explaining what happened. The mayor says, "How did this happen?" And Egon says, "The neutralizer field was shut off." And Ray goes, "Yeah, Dickless here made sure of that one." And then the mayor goes, "Is this true?" And then it cuts to Bill Murray, and he goes, "Yes, this man has no dick." And that is probably the best joke of them. It's just so funny because
it is. It's a really good joke.
It's very much Bill Murray.
Correct.
That you could tell me that was improvised, and I'd be 100%. Because that's just how that's his humor that he did.
Yeah. No, it's very
it felt very natural.
Dry humor.
Yeah. It was, the joke was set up, and it was a very obvious setup, but it just worked so well in that scene where it was nobody laughed at it because I don't know, it just worked really good in that scene. I think it made it was only as funny because of the surroundings.
Yeah, it was taken serious in the timeline of the movie. In the movie it was taken seriously, but in reality it's very funny.
Everything is so tense that he said that and everyone was like, whatever. Nobody had time to talk about it or laugh.
Honestly, when I was young, I didn't really realize Ghostbusters was more of a comedy. I think coming off of Gremlins, I'd seen it more as the horror aspect. When the jump scare happens with the library ghost and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all of those I saw more as a horror movie. So then when I would see a lot of horror stuff when I was younger, I'd always wonder, why isn't Ghostbusters included? And it wasn't until I got older, when I looked back at it, I was like, this is not nearly as scary, or even, I don't know, it was not even as close to being as scary as some of the other movies back then. I will say, when I went and saw Frozen Empire, both times, people had kids in there that, like, were scared. Like, both times we saw it.
I would
So,
say Frozen Empire was a little more like eerie, scary, if that makes sense.
there was parts, yeah, like,
They set up the stakes really well to be like whenever the whatever it is the inhabitor or whatever that is, like where the
yeah.
little red like thing that would like jump into like
Oh,
the
yeah.
vacuum and
Yeah.
bring the vacuum to life. Like whenever that thing's like glass started cracking, like it was like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it fixed itself. I was like, okay. And then like 3 seconds later, the whole thing explodes. It's like, okay, this is really bad. Like,
Yeah, I guess, like, even with that ball, there was one scene I remember in the theater, like, it just, like, has a slow pan on it, and like, nothing really happens, but I was like, okay, they did a really good job with, like, the score and, like, the creepiness, and then McKenna Grace going in there and dying, basically, I kind of thing.
yeah, I think that was a really good. I really liked that plot point where it wasn't just. I don't know how to say this without like kind of like trashing on the first movie, but like they were able to keep the Ghostbusters like the vibe of the first movie while still making it entertaining with something new. Like you can only do that first. You can only do that template so many times before it's like, okay, they're going into this place, they're destroying a bunch of things, they're catching ghosts, and it's like
They had a, which I don't have a whole lot of experience watching the cartoon. I know a lot of people do enjoy it. I just am not a big animated series kind of person. I do know that a lot of people like Slimer, so I'm just kind of sad to not see a lot of Slimer in the newer movies.
I think he was in Frozen Empire
He was eating
probably
some trash, but
just about as much as he's in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, in the movies, he's never been a big character, but since he
Yeah.
is such a big character in the animated series, I feel people wanted to see more of that. They did the template so many times in the cartoon, I feel, like where they go around to places, they catch ghosts and stuff like that. Except in those, they had Slimer kind of as a partner with it, whereas in the movies, I feel they kind of put Slimer in the background.
I have one thing that I want to ask before I move on to the next thing I want to talk about. So the Ecto-1 is a very iconic movie car, like that, the DeLorean, Kit from Knight Rider. Or is Knight Rider a movie or is that a TV show?
That's a movie, right? Oh, no, I think you're right, it's a TV show, because they added it to Fortnite, and I remember looking up what it was.
Kit from Knight Rider, like the Jeeps from Jurassic Park. I'm probably missing some obvious ones, but it's like all of those are very like noticeable. If you like the movie, hate the movie, never seen the movie, like you see it and you're like, this is something. I don't know what, but this is something. Like the Munsters car, like
yeah, that's my big one. Billy's Volkswagen Beetle.
yes.
The AMC Gremlin. No, those are nothing. I think you've really hit them
E.T.'s little pod that he flies in on,
and then the orca from Jaws.
And then in the second movie, kind of screw the whole thing up. I absolutely hate the design of the Ecto-1 that they do in the second movie. They put like the yellow and and black like tape on the side. They put a big sign that says like "We're for hire."
Well, I think it was supposed to because they're poor. They don't have a lot more money.
I know, but it's like it just looked so bad, and every time I see it, I'm like, why do we have to do this?
I think, and here's one thing I will always say that was smart that you did that I see a lot of people don't do. When you built your Lego set.
Oh.
So many people put the Rust stickers on.
I don't know why they did.
Why? Yours looks so good without it.
It looks so much better.
I was just watching a review of this guy who had it on a shelf, and he had the Rust stickers, and I was like, why? Why would you put that on there?
I kept the Rust stickers.
Like, maybe making it authentic to that movie, but then at the same time, the Ghostbusters car is iconic. It's a great car, so why would you do that? Like, that's like if you got a Lego car, like one of the trucks or something, and put all rust on those sides. Like, nobody would want that.
Well, my car in real life has rust all over it, and it's like...
Okay, but you don't want that on your car. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good thing.
And I understand that, like, in Afterlife, it would count alongside Afterlife. It was rusty then, but it's like, you don't even notice it.
No, literally.
And it's like...
Well, because they filmed it all from above, basically, and also... It was the first time we were revisiting Ghostbusters. It's not super noticeable on a grand scale car.
And that's... So, whenever I got that Lego set, the Ecto-1, I didn't put the stickers on it, because I was like, this is going to look weird. And I kind of went back and forth, like, maybe I should. I was like, maybe I should order, like extra parts. So that if I decide whatever, like, I want to put the stickers on, I can, swap all the pieces out. So I still have... And then we went to that one, like... comic book
Yeah.
video game whatever store, and they had it there with the stickers on it, and it just looks so much worse. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Not doing
I'm not
that.
gonna do that. I don't know.
I wouldn't do that either.
But yeah, the second Ecto 1, or I guess it's the Ecto 2 or 1A or whatever they called it.
Yeah, 1A. And I think, I don't know, because by that point, it had been 5 years for that first movie, and I think even in universe they had like gotten sued, so they haven't been ghost busting, so they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
so it's like, yeah, it makes sense that it's all run down and it's not, or not even run down, but like advertised on.
I think that's one of my favorite things about movies in general, but it's like at certain times they date them with the references they make.
Mm-hmm.
So in Ghostbusters 2, it opens, they walk in. I mean, they play it off really cleverly, but like, so Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson, they go into the like apartment building, and the woman meets them at the door, and she's like, "There's about 20 of them, and they're full of energy, and they're going around like crazy, and I just hope you can help." And they're like, "Of course we can help." And they open the door, and it's a kids' party because they were, like you said, they were sued. They weren't, all their stuff was taken away. They were on some sort of like probation.
And that's the thing. I remember that scene when I was watching that scene when I was younger. Like that's one of the scenes I remember. So it's like.
But they go in and they start singing the Ghostbusters song, which, controversial take, I don't really like the Ghostbusters song.
What? Why?
It's a little overplayed.
Well,
and
I think it's not meant to be taken seriously. I think that's.
Well, yeah, but it's like I hear it and I'm like, oh, here this is again.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird enough. I much prefer the title theme.
You know what I feel about? You know how I feel about that? What song I feel that way about? Monster Mash.
Yeah.
When I hear that, I go, oh God, here we go again.
Yep.
No, so I guess I do get where you feel on that, where it's like, but with Monster Mash when I was young, I thought it was cringe. And now that I've gotten older, and especially with how my life has gone, I've decided it's okay.
But yeah, so they go into the party, and they start singing the song.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, "Who are you gonna call?" And then all the kids yell, "He-Man."
Mm-hmm.
And then they all start chanting for He-Man. And it's like, if they wouldn't have said that, you wouldn't have been able to, like, I mean, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, there's nothing that, like, oh, this is at this time. But it's like, this is when He-Man was big with kids. Like, this is the late 80s or early to mid 80s. Or like.
Honestly, I think Ghostbusters 2 has only gotten more popular over time. I think the ideas that it was setting up, because honestly, a good Ghostbusters movie is just, I don't know, where they're doing anything. I don't know how you make a bad Ghostbusters movie, is my thing. Because they're always...
Oh, they can do it. I guess that wasn't really Ghostbusters. That was like a weird side quest.
Yeah, that was a side quest that they went on.
That was some weird DLC they accidentally released.
They refused to make Ghostbusters 3, I guess. Bill Murray just didn't want to do it, so they were like, we'll do it a different way.
And then I think, I'm honestly wondering if Bill Murray saw it and he went, you know what?
Well, he was in it. Yeah, he got killed in it, though. That's where I've always been like, what the hell? Well, because I think that's one of the reasons they also went ahead with the remake, was because when Harold Ramis died, they're like, okay, now we can't do another Ghostbusters. But obviously they could, and they could make it really good.
And they could do it really well.
They did it all in his family's honor, too. Or with his family's, like
blessing.
Blessing, yeah. Like, it wasn't a, hey, let's make some money and do it. I mean, maybe. But at the same time, it's still a very iconic scene. It's still a very good scene. It's still an amazing tribute to a character. I liked Egon, personally. He was my favorite. Maybe just because I had the toys, or a toy, and he was the only one I had. But I liked him. Like, I've always, because he was nerdy, and that was kind of whatever, you know what I mean?
Something I always think is funny is his kind of weird, not weird, like his like on again, off again relationship with Annie Potts. Janine, is that her name in the movie? It's interesting how they played it off, because they wanted to focus on it, but they didn't want to draw attention to it. So they just like kept throwing it in your face, but then they would like not mention it for a while. I have a feeling this is going to be an interesting episode. I feel like we're kind of all over the place. I rewatched the first one. I rewatched half of the second one. Something I still don't understand, and that every single time I watch this first one, I go, why did we have to keep this in the movie? And you might know where I'm going. The Ghostbusters bust Slimer. Their business takes off. They're catching ghosts everywhere. Dan Aykroyd goes to sleep. And ... fill in the blank. A ghost... Dan Aykroyd goes to sleep, and a ghost comes into his bedroom, and... and you can guess the rest. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it is so weird. I don't know why we did... I don't know why...
I think, personally... It was Dan Aykroyd's idea. He came on set and he said he wasn't doing the movie.
He said, listen.
Until he said, I want a ghost. I don't care how serious the movie is. I want a ghost to unzip my pants.
And then cut to my face.
And then Bill Murray got jealous, actually. And he said,
He said, what about Slimer?
I want to have sex with a ghost in some kind of way also.
Oh my God.
So then he got that too. I genuinely don't understand, but I will say that's another scene I remember from when I was young. It is that scene, because I think also that I was watching with my mom, so it's like, okay, hey, what's going on, guys?
Right, and it's just like, it goes on the whole scene is like probably 10 seconds, but it feels like it just goes on forever.
And that's probably one of the biggest things, is Ghostbusters is a huge franchise now, and still 41 years later, we have no idea why they've included that scene. And then why they don't do stuff like that ever again, ever really in the franchise.
Right. Well, because it's not like each of them had a little like something with a ghost. Like it was like their business taking off. It interjected, like the movie stopped, like dead stop. We're like, the Ghostbusters are doing good. Their business is blowing up. Stop the movie. Here's Dan Aykroyd's weird scene. Okay, they're still doing good. They're catching ghosts. Like, I don't know. Do they need to address it? I think it's almost better if we just leave it alone.
And maybe it's part of like they really thought, because they were SNL people before, so maybe it was like, this is really funny, and they didn't expect Ghostbusters to be as big as it is. So maybe it was like, this will be really funny to throw people off. But now that it's like a massive movie, a massive franchise, kids enjoy it. Right. They're probably looking back like, maybe we should have rethought this. Like, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But you know what? It's part of the movie. When I was a kid, I watched it and I didn't think anything of it, I guess.
Exactly. I mean,
you know, if it came out today, I'm sure people would be really upset. But at the same time, like I just said, as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, so I don't think it was honestly a big deal.
And that's like, to go back to SNL cast who, do movies, every time I watch Tommy Boy, I find a different joke.
Oh yeah.
Like there's something else I go, oh, I didn't realize that, or like, oh, this like plays into this later. Like every single time I watch it, I notice something different. That
was that written by SNL people, or was it just, I mean, obviously Chris Farley and
David Spade. I don't know who wrote it. Dan Aykroyd's in that. Because I have a theory that, because his character in Tommy Boy is also named Ray, and I have a theory that he did his ghost busting, and then they got like arrested and fined and all this stuff. So he went to Chicago, started an auto parts company, and then whenever that failed, he went back to New York, started ghost busting again.
Hey, you know what? It kind of makes sense. Hey, listen, he has a shop now. So it could honestly be true. Like, in the newest movie, he has this little, like, ghosting shop. So he's like, he learned how to do it. He came back. He's like, I'll go back to my roots, buy weird antiques.
Put guarantees on boxes.
I guess.
That's a Tommy Boy thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. In Afterlife, it's a good mix of building the new characters and kind of fan service.
Yeah.
Because they go in to whatever town they live in, and they're like, we have to move because my dad just died. So they go back and they move into Egon's house, and like it's very Ghostbusters-y.
Yes.
Like there's the PKE meter, or whatever it's called, the thing with the arms that go out. Like there's books everywhere. There's the symmetrical stacks of books. There's little kind of callbacks to the older movies, and then whenever Finn Wolfhard goes out in the barn and finds the Ecto-1, it's like, it was very much like, it kind of did two things. One, it, paid homage to the first two movies, but then it also kind of built out Egon's character for after the movies ended, which was that he genuinely cared about this work.
No, yeah.
Because he kept all of the, whatever, the equipment and the Ecto-1, and in the basement he had all those spores and funguses and mucus blobs, and like...
And he continued studying and
Right.
doing stuff and writing stuff down and documenting all that stuff long after the Ghostbusters corporation went defunct.
So yeah, it really built out his character without... I mean, obviously in whatever it was, 2019, Harold Ramis was not alive for a while.
Yeah.
So it fully built out his character without him speaking a single word. Which is pretty impressive, in my opinion.
And it doesn't go against, I think, what Harold Ramis would have wanted, because he also was one of the biggest people behind making Ghostbusters 3. Like, him and Dan Aykroyd were, like, the two, I would say, heavily involved in the production of it. And then when he passed, it was kind of like, okay, without Harold Ramis, I mean, if you couldn't get a movie off the ground with him and Dan Aykroyd on board, you weren't going to get one without him. And I think that is kind of the best part of Afterlife, is it's not like they're going against what he would have wanted by putting him in this movie. It's not like a movie that he didn't hate Ghostbusters. It's not like he was like, I never want to be in Ghostbusters 3. Like, okay, if Bill Murray would have died and then they would have put him in Ghostbusters, it would have been like, all right.
Like, okay, guys.
He didn't want to do it while he was alive. Are you making him do it? Like, Harold Ramis, I'm sure, would have loved to be in that movie. So still paying tribute to him through a ghost, through him still being there. The shot of all four of them together is phenomenal. It's amazing. I love it, especially because it's McKenna Grace doing it, like holding it, and then in my head they weren't going to show him at all because they hadn't shown him the entire movie.
It was like there's like 4 seconds left in the movie. It felt like
why would they? It made sense. At that time, it was kind of like they did it for like Star Wars, but it was still kind of iffy if it happened. But then, like, when you see his hands, like, steadier thing, like, I was like, okay, this is peak cinema. That image of that guy sitting there, like, peak cinema, literally. Like,
I do like the way that they used Zool and Gozer and the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper and all those in Afterlife was a really good way to make the franchise feel familiar.
Yes.
While still making it a new thing. Because, like, it wasn't just... Like, they weren't in New York. They weren't... Like, I could go on and on about things they weren't. But, like, they still used the ideas behind what they did in the first movie. And then, again, playing into that, Harold Ramis continued his work is that, he had giant ghost containment cells under his yard, I'm pretty sure. Unless I misremember that. But he did have, ghost traps buried in his yard. Like he cared enough to keep it going. And I feel like it was something like the ghosts were like, he felt the ghosts were like coming for him.
Yeah. I think that's what they're like figured. Like, because they did kill him, right? Like, we see it at the start of the movie, like the ghost, like, he's like sitting in that chair and they all like overtake him.
It's been a long time since I watched that
movie. So it's like...
Because the dogs come out of the chair and kill him.
Yeah. So it's like technically... Why did they hunt him, or why were they going after him? I don't know. But, I mean, he isolated himself, and that was, like, part of his character. We thought he was, like, oh, he's just a weird old guy. Whatever. He locks himself away, and then he died or whatever. But then it's, like, as you go on, it's, like, he sacrificed himself, basically, to save these people.
Right.
Like, they may have saw him as a weird, old guy, but then he sets up all these traps for when Gozer does return. And, because I think they had, like, the date that she was going to come back or try to, like he knew about that. So, like, he set this up for them, even if he wasn't going to be around for that. Like, that's cool. Considering the other 3 Ghostbusters went off and did their own things and went on with their lives. And honestly, one of the biggest things is they cannot get Bill Murray for more than 5 minutes in those movies. He gets to show up to do some tests, and then he's out the movie till the end, when he shows up and goes, I don't want to fucking be here.
He goes, I hate Mondays.
Literally.
I forget his role in Frozen Empire. I think it's kind of just like he shows up at the end.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, because it probably would have been for Afterlife, they did a bunch of, like, merch for all the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And Reebok did shoes. It was for Afterlife because it had the ones for the Muncher. And I almost bought like 3 or 4 of the different pairs because they're all pretty cool. But the ones that I did get were Reebok pumps, which if you know what those are, that's probably really cool to you. If not, they are just shoes, and then instead of laces, there's like an airbag and a pump on the tongue, and you just pump up the shoe, and then that's how it like ties itself.
It's kind of weird.
It is weird.
It's cool.
And I accidentally deflate them all the time because I sit with my feet crossed, and then I'll be sitting and I'll go deflate. And I'm like, well, there goes my shoe. But I got those, and they had the pink slime on them. And I don't know why I wanted them so bad, but I did. And I don't know that I had really seen the second Ghostbusters movie. Like I had, and I knew the idea of it, but I just don't know that I like can confidently say like I had seen Ghostbusters 2 enough to where I was like, that's the pink slime from Ghostbusters 2, and this is cool, and this is why it's cool. But for some reason I wanted them, and I have them now. But it kind of plays back in like we haven't gotten to this yet, and I don't know that we'll really get much into this. But they brought him back for Afterlife, and then his son did Frozen Empire after he died.
Yeah. Well, his son,
I think his son did some Afterlife.
I think his son, directed Afterlife, and Ivan Reitman was like executive producer or co-director or something. They both did it together.
Right.
Over that.
But like he was there, so it wasn't this. Like I feel like a lot of times they'll reboot movies and they'll bring in just some guy.
Correct. Yeah.
Like they'll bring in
entirely new people.
Right. Like they'll do. I don't know.
The main cast.
I think they did. I guess Back to the Future was probably it was all the same people.
I think so.
Or at least like the big
Spielberg and
higher up.
Yeah.
But then like if they did Back to the Future 4 and they brought in like James from Illinois, like he's not gonna do the same.
No, because he has his own stuff.
Right. But they brought back Ivan. They brought back his son, but they brought his son in, and they worked on Afterlife together. And I really think that the only reason that Frozen Empire was as good as it was because one, he had that experience of he's been around his dad obviously for his whole life. That's how.
Yeah, it's kind of how it works. Sometimes.
Well, I guess that's not how it works.
Not for everybody, no. If you don't have a dad, comment down below.
He was around his dad for his whole life. So, like, he, grew up with the Ghostbusters, I'm guessing,
for sure.
around him. There's no way he didn't.
I mean, that's Ivan Reitman's,
right.
That's his magnum opus.
So it's like, yeah, he had that as a kid growing up. He saw this Ghostbusters stuff. He was there to help direct or fully direct Afterlife. And then whenever his dad died between the two, I remember the big thing that he was like, I'm making this for my dad. He's like, this is not going to be some, crappy remake. He's like, this is going to be as if my dad was here. Like,
I was actually sitting at my work with Felissa Rose, if you don't know, from Sleepaway Camp. She was there. And this is after we were done. So she was just sitting there, we were talking, and I was kind of like, oh, Ivan Reitman died. And she's like, I knew him. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad then.
right.
So I was like, all right, that makes it even more sad. But I didn't even think of that when I said it in the moment. I was just like, oh, shit.
Right. It's like, oh, these people.
I was like, I forgot. You do have connections.
Even if they're not, best friends.
She was in the original Ghostbusters. She was an extra in the original Ghostbusters.
Oh, really? What scene?
When they're all outside the firehouse, she said.
Oh. Could you imagine, you just go to some random casting call for extras, and it's Ghostbusters?
Yeah, no, that'd be crazy. That's just, it is, you think of how many people are extras for just, a TV show and stuff, whatever. But then it's you get a casting call to be an extra for, an actual cool thing. I'd be like, fuck yeah. How many boring things do I have to be an extra for so I can get, a cool thing?
Well, a lot of times they have them under, code names.
Mm-hmm.
So, you go to be an extra for...
you go to be an extra for Monolith, and it's oh, man, what's this? And then it's hey, welcome. This is Gremlins 2, the new batch, actually.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And it's
ooh-wee! My career's about to tank.
I think I'll just go back home.
Well, that's not what I would have said back in 1989.
Yeah, back in 1989, you would have said nothing.
Why not?
Because you were dead. We've had this conversation
That's
on here
true.
before. Before you're born, you're dead. You're born, and then you die again.
That is true. And if you guys haven't seen that episode, I suggest going back and watching it. That was the School of Rock episode.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I forget. As soon as I upload it, I'm on to the next one.
That's usually how recording works.
Which is, mentally. Oh. Which is funny, because I forget who it was, but they were somebody came up to them, and they referenced a video, and And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, and like they're like, oh, you know, here's an hour of funny moments from Danny Gonzalez. Here's an hour of, you know, Rhett and Link. They have the there's that fan channel, Mythical Moments. It's like so many things from that are I quote all the time, not thinking about it, but it's like, hey, remember when you said you're dead and then you're born and then you die again? I'd be like, I kind of do, but I don't really know what you're talking about.
I think that is the magic of podcasts, is that they almost always, or at least right now, they stay pretty relevant. I think with Sal and Q, I have a biggest issue of like, they'll talk about things and they're talking about it back then, but I keep comparing it to today, like thinking it's being recorded. Like, it's weird to think of it like that.
This is just us fun rambling about podcast content creation. But yeah, it's just like, it's impressive some of the like the logistics behind content creation. So I don't think I've talked about this here yet, but I know for a fact that I haven't. But we had a meeting at work the one day, and my fun fact for my introduction to the department was that I have a podcast. And I feel like sometimes people hear that and they go, oh, you have a podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, it genuinely is a lot of work. And it has made me, I know that you've done, you know, videos and stuff for a while, but like, I genuinely do appreciate more watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. Because let's say let's say this episode ends up being an hour, I'll probably edit for a good 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that is just audio.
No,
like
literally. That's, when I was young, I would always be like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to, you know, do all this stuff. And my parents were very, that's the dumbest thing, which part of it is, that is actually stuff I enjoy doing. But they were always like, the stupid, you know, you're whatever, that's not a job, you know. But I don't think they understood, which I think now they get it more as I've actually shown them like how much work and goes into certain things. Because back then it's not like I was editing for hours. I mean, I was...
Right.
It's still a lot of effort to make content, get feedback, get all that stuff. Like, doing this podcast is even like, on top of having a real job and on top of wanting to make my own videos, it's a lot of stuff. Like, even taking an hour out of your day to talk about things, it's like, okay, hold on, I have to actually think about things.
Whenever we were planning when we were going to record, I was like, hey, we can record tonight. And I was like, actually, let's record tomorrow. And then Hayden's like, I work tomorrow. I was like, all right, we're doing it tonight. like it sounds dumb, but it's like, it is genuinely a lot of work. And like, before, genuinely to do it and to do it good, it 100% can be a full-time job. Like, I know there's certain people, like, I always throw Rhett and Link around, but they really have shown how you can turn YouTube into a genuine business. Like, they are like the, you know, here's how YouTube can be a full-time job.
Yeah.
Them, Smosh, any of those older channels that have progressed to where they are now. Mr. Beast, as much as, you know, he gets backlash and hate and all stuff, he has really done it. Like, he took YouTube and
done YouTube. Yeah, exactly.
And he made it.
A lot of people want to edit their own videos and they edit all their own stuff at the start, but it just gets to a point where that is not feasible to keep up with the content flow that you need to stay on YouTube and stay popular and stay relevant, to keep up with the views, to keep up on people subscribing, people wanting to actually watch your content, because also people grow out of content like crazy. But yeah, I don't know how Ghostbusters has anything to do with Mr. Beast.
I watch.
All right, Peter Griffin.
I watch every day, hoping our wheel video comes up.
What?
You remember when we did that? We did the Gremlins interview. And we filmed the wheel video.
Oh yeah.
I did submit it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I'm like, hi, I'm Griffin Murray. I'm here with Hayden McGraw's giant Gremlins collection. This time it's been the Wheel of Mythicality.
All right. Thank you guys all so much for listening to the podcast. I am your host, Hayden McGraw, joined by
the other guy.
And we thank you guys all for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. If you guys want another episode on Ghostbusters, please leave a like. If you guys want Griffin to come to your house, please drop a like.
And put your address in the comments. Please
one lucky person will get us to show up at their door. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next video.
Please don't put your address in the comments.